I'd gotten a comment. No, I don't remember when. I had a comment in general that asked me if I thought that the elders were generally stronger than the slayers, and I think that's a question that's a little more nuanced than simply yes or no. I think it depends on which elder we're speaking about, which slayer candidate we're speaking about, probably case by case in a vacuum. But I do want to generally say this. I do think for probably for a long time they were generally stronger, or if they are stronger than any of the current slayers right now, I do think that all the elders have already reached the peak of their power. Does that make sense? They've already hit the ceiling. There's nowhere else for them to really grow in terms of strength or maybe ability. They've already amassed all the power, abilities, and items that they could, and they're here. Level whatever. What I believe is that the slayers in general have more latent talent and potential, and thus what they're going to do in the long run is completely eclipse and surpass them, even if they're not stronger than them as of right now. So let's kind of talk about a couple of them, and let me give you my kind of some examples to kind of make it clearer.
It don't matter though. Young nigga from Canada, brought from that bullshit and go like a matador.
So the first example I'm going to use is Karaka and Hellam, and I think it's very obvious that Karaka is currently not stronger than Hellam. We kind of got a little bit of display. Like sometimes SA does a good job of showing how much stronger the other slayers are, or at least maybe more well versed in combat than Karaka is. Because I remember Karaka being the only one who got like kind of grazed by one of Hellam's attacks. But that being said, I do believe that Hellam has already reached the peak of his power and potential as a combatant, whatever you want to call him in Tower God series. And Karaka will eclipse him. His latent talent and overall potential as the rising star of F.U.G, the rising star of evil, will surpass him, and he will be greater overall when he reaches the peak of his power and ability. Let's take Yama, for example, and Sophia. Not entirely sure yet. We can't make too much distinction. We haven't really seen Sophia do much, but we know she's a very powerful elder, right? And I think that she's pretty smart. And I would argue that that's one that's more debatable. Don't know, because both of them are someone we haven't really seen showcase some ability. Hellam, we know we've seen his like bison. I call it the bison, but his ancient, his native power, plus his ability to use his arrows and see fate and stuff. So we know a little bit more about his power set. Sophia and Yama we know enough about. I'm sorry, let me correct myself for a second. With Yama, we know a decent amount about. The thing about it with Yama is, Baylord Yama, we have yet to see use his complete K9 transformation or summon Arcanax, something we learned that Nenea had kind of put into him. We basically got a retroactive power up through a flashback that we didn't even know existed, plus the Three Fangs hasn't united with him yet, and we know he has Wang Wang's ability to not be dominated. So I could argue probably when all of those things are kind of in Yama, he might probably already be stronger than Sophia, but prior to that we don't know. So I truly believe it's a case by case scenario. I do think though that the Slayers have been overhyped, generally speaking. In terms of white, like Bam is the best one we've seen, but in terms of white Yama and Karaka and whatnot, Bam as a Slayer candidate is the best we've seen from F.U.G as far as I'm concerned. So depending on your perspective, they're not that impressive. I'd argue that Zahard's like captain commanders of the corps, like a Khel, Hellam, and Libark, and those guys, and Yasracha have been honestly way more impressive than the Slayers have been. But I do think the Slayers are going to get their chance to shine later on in the story, so let's kind of be patient and see that come to fruition and come to the forefront. But I'm not mad at anyone who thinks that the elders are stronger, but I do think for sure none of the elders are stronger than the first generation of Slayers, like your loose legs and whatnot. I don't think any of them are stronger, and I'd be willing to put money on like your Immorts and stuff. Having already being established, being stronger than some of the elders. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the elders are stronger than the Slayers in general? Do you think it's vice versa, or do you think that like me, you have to take it in a vacuum? You have to use every individual situation differently. You can't kind of use one color paints all or one size fits all. Let me know. You guys be safe. Shout out to the Patreon gang. Yes, sir. Shout out to my CBL, the Certified BAM lovers, and my Priests of Fire. But especially The Defense Zen Gods. Shout out to Triss, Abdel, AJ, Allen, Bloody Winters, Childish, Nujabes, David Langstaff, Irene Sharda, Jamarcus Cole, Cayenne, Chris, Lazy Dragon, Lucky Rue, Miles, Revenant, Scobe, Simi, and Sunny Kathapali. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.